I thought it'd be a good time to tackle the upholstery on the back seats. It's supposed to be one of the easier jobs in the upholstery world. So I guess the big trick to this is these holes. They're not just there for drainage or letting air out when you sit down. They're there to attach this cushion in place. The way it works is it gets stitched through the holes directly to the metal. This will get all padded out, and then this will get pulled around and glued in place. If this wasn't attached to the bottom, when you pulled this around, it would pull up and you could never get it tight. So that has to get glued down or stitched down. The other thing, when this gets pulled around to be glued, there's going to be some extra foam that we're going to have to cut off. If you'll notice, I went with the choice of painting the bottom of these the same color as the car. It's not entirely necessary. I've seen others who have just left them black. I don't know what the original color was because these were completely rusted. I did paint the inside black because a rattle can of spray paint's a lot cheaper than the car color. But and you know, once it's upholstered, it's never seen. So that's my plan for this morning, to get this attached and upholstered. Let's go step by step. Okay, so the first step is to line up the holes. We want to put the holes through this. It's we have several layers here. We have the foam, some leather, 2 layers of vinyl that's the piping, another layer of leather. So there's going to be a lot to go through. First, we're going to find the center, which is right here. We're going to line it up with the first hole. Luckily, it's centered. Now we could try to sew directly through this, but it's so thick, you would have a very, very hard time doing that. So I'm going to use leather hole punch, just to get through all of that. You want to make sure not to hit the threads, but just go through all those layers. That's not bad. Let me show you what I'm going to stitch it up with. This is some cord that I have. It's braided nylon cord. I don't remember what it's from, but super strong. And we're just going to sew it through once we get all the holes punched. But now, for now, with the first hole punched, you can line it up and find where the others are. Quick tip for you: when you cut your nylon rope, you can just put a lighter on it, heat it up a bit, and it melts the nylon and it keeps it from fraying. So now that we have the holes made, it's pretty simple to stitch it on there. I've simply tied a big knot in the end, threaded the string through, and then it goes in the hole. And it'll skip over to the next hole. once everything's through, you can go through and tighten it up like you do laces on your shoes. And because it's an odd number, we're going to tie it off at the end here. So I'm using a modified granny knot. You just go through twice. It gives the ball on the end an extra, makes it extra thick. Then cut it off. Maybe a little more. And burn it. Next step is to do some padding. So what I'm going to do is add a couple layers of the batting. I'm going to do a layer down here and then another layer on top of it that goes a little bit further. I think that 2 of those will give enough cushion to hold this out right. If not, we'll add some more. Now I have the 3 layers in there. I think that's going to be plenty to fluff it out. I think the hard part is going to be keeping the wrinkles out of it as we go around. Leather stretches very nice, but this is a difficult form to do. Anyway, I'm going to have to be patient with it. Before I glue this back on, I have gone through and marked where the holes are because the leather's going to wrap around and cover up the holes, and I'm going to need to find those because that's where the screws go through. The screws go through the new clean upholstery into the body to hold these in place. I drew long lines that will lead me to where they go. So when it's covered up, I can see it's it's there, and I know that it's very close to the edge, so I'll be able to find the hole better. It'll save me a lot of time hunting around. Also, I've used spray glue to hold the batting in place, but I'm going to use contact adhesive to hold the leather to the steel. It's thicker, stronger, more solid connection than the spray glue will be. It also sets a bit faster. Well, I think overall they turned out all right. There's a few little Well, it needs to stretch a bit, I think. I don't know if everybody's does this, but my two seats seem to overlap. Right here, there's right here. This one screw has gone through. It lined up perfectly with the other one. Once I got the other bolts in, other screws in, which is great. It covers the seam in the carpet right there. So anyway, that's how it seemed to go. So that's how it went in. I'm really not liking upholstery when you have to glue the upholstery to metal. Doing it. Okay, I learned upholstery on wood. We can stretch it and pull and stretch, and then once you get it just right, you fire a staple into it, and then it holds it. Contact adhesive on metal is just a whole different ball game. Not nearly as, I don't know, adjustable, I think. Anyway, it's on there, it's held in place, and it's in the car, so that I will count as progress. No, you're not watching things out of order. I had to take it all apart. The sad part is I'd gotten the door pretty well aligned before I had to do this. I got it pretty much aligned and then was trying to put all the bolts in. And in the bottom hinge down here, there was I could get 2 bolts lined up and the other ones wouldn't. It was crazy. So what I figured out, I'll explain with these. These are shims that they go on the hinges. They actually would go like this down there. So when they're lined up, all 4 holes line up. If you have something flipped over backwards, you can get 2 of them to line up, like these 2. But then this one, with these 2 lined up, you can't get these. Or you can get these 2 lined up, not these. You can get the 2 diagonal ones almost lined up. Yeah, there you go. And then you can't get these. So what happened is that to get more adjustment, I had I'd taken the plates off to drill the holes bigger, and when they went back on, 3 out of 4 went on correctly, but this bottom one did not. So I had to flip it over. There's here, let me show you. Okay, so way down in here there's a little bracket that holds the plate in place, and it just needs to hold the plate in place long enough for you to get the screws in. And once the screws are in place, then it serves no purpose. So because of that, I was able to just chisel it off. It was just spot welded in place, and then I reaffixed it with the European equivalent of JB Weld. Just some 2-part epoxy putty stuff. Hopefully once that's set, it'll be secure enough to get the screws on the door back on.
It's not perfect, but it's awfully damn close. I'm very happy with that, considering all the fighting and stuff I've done. So the next part is to put all the rest of the hardware on. I know that takes a while, so that'll probably be the rest of the week. Considering today's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all the American friends out there. You ever had one of those little projects where you thought, oh, this won't take me long, I've done it before? An hour later, you're still working on it. I just put this headlight ring on, and it was exactly that. I put these on before, but for some reason, this one just would not go on. I ended up switching them left and right, and it worked. But damn, it shouldn't be that difficult. The reason I was doing this, I switched out the headlights. I took these headlights off the Sprite. These are original sealed beam headlights. I think for this one, I want the sealed beam look instead of LEDs or anything like that. So I had these on hand, so that's what I went with. So I thought I'd play with a tonneau cover because it's something simple. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward going on. This one has a seam, right down the middle. So in the back, I lined it up, and then put the spikes that they attach to. There's not one right in the middle, so I did the two on either side of middle. And then I did the one up front here. That's enough just to hold it in place for now. And so I'll go one at a time, putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, marking it, taking it off, cutting the hole, putting the little clip thingy in. If you're gonna do this, especially if you're gonna do a tonneau and a convertible top, I highly recommend just buying the right size hole punch. This is also a really good size if you make your own gaskets. This one's 8 millimeters, so it would do like 7/16 bolts with a 7/16 head. It's not the engineering term, that's the mechanics term. Okay, so I'm just gonna go around step by step and get this tonneau cover put on. One of the great things about having a convertible, especially an old British convertible, is having a tonneau cover and driving around by yourself with just the driver's side exposed. It makes you feel like you're in the Le Mans, where they would have like basically metal tonneau covers, so just the driver's seat was exposed. I guess it cut down on wind resistance or something, but it looks really cool. Anyway, I like that. Have a look around, you can see that I've gotten all the accessories in place, the plates and the door striker and the Furflex molding. The results of the week I'm happy with. As you can see, the door gap is solid, and I can do this. That is the sound of victory.
If you like this video, click the like button below. If you want to come along on the ride as we complete this project, click the subscribe button. If you want to make sure Google reminds you every time there's a new video, click the alarm bell. Your support is very much appreciated.